it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job?
Oh, they had me driving for Uber Eats, but there were too many damn rules. Don't touch the food, don't taste the food, drive on the road.
I'm sorry, Rowdy Weddy.
Easiest way to get attention is to be a victim. He was like, ooh, where he going with this?
We love American telly. My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yeah.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
Oh, hilarious.
What the f is she talking about? She didn't know. The fuck? It's the royal family. They're the original race.
Picture this. You're sitting in a packed comedy club, and suddenly the entire room erupts in thunderous applause. Not for a punchline, but for something much more powerful. Someone just said what everyone was thinking, but nobody dared to voice. That moment happened thousands of times across the globe. And it all started with one comedian's surgical takedown of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle that changed everything.
Like the hip hop, the hibbit, hip hop, and you don't stop, erase them.
What began as scattered jokes about the royal couple quickly transformed into something unprecedented in comedy history. From London's most prestigious venues to underground clubs in Los Angeles, comedians discovered they'd struck absolute gold with Harry and Meghan material. Every mention of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex triggered reactions so explosive that venue owners started advertising special nights just to meet demand.
Does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? They don't know why.
That's interesting. She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag.
There's another bag.
And that confuses people.
Audiences weren't just laughing anymore. They were standing, cheering, and demanding more royal roasting. But here's what makes this story absolutely fascinating. This wasn't planned. There was no coordination, no conspiracy, no orchestrated campaign against Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy!
Instead, comedians worldwide independently arrived at the same conclusion. They'd found the perfect target for exposing modern celebrity hypocrisy. And when the dust settled, they'd accomplished something remarkable. They'd used humor to say what serious journalism couldn't about the Sussex narrative. The transformation was swift and merciless.
The fuck are they talking about? I didn't know. That's like marrying into the Budweiser family and going, they drink a lot.
What started as occasional celebrity roasting of Harry and Meghan evolved into a full-blown cultural phenomenon that exposed fundamental contradictions in how we discuss privilege, victimhood, and authenticity in the digital age. Every attempt by the couple at damage control only provided fresh material. Every carefully crafted Meghan interview became ammunition for the next comedy set about royal hypocrisy.
We love American telly. My brother's fiancée, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suits.
Yeah.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
Oh, hilarious.
To understand how comedy became the most effective weapon against the Sussex narrative manipulation, we need to examine three devastating phases of this cultural shift. First, the precision strikes from A-list comedians who turned Harry and Meghan's contradictions into comedy gold. Second, the global ripple effect that transformed isolated jokes about the royal couple into an international phenomenon.
Now, I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. Now I've actually heard their side of the story, I f***ing hate them.
And third, the philosophical analysis from one legendary comedian that explained why all these jokes about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle worked so perfectly. The revelation about modern celebrity culture that emerged from this comedy assault on the Sussexes will fundamentally change how you view public narratives.
Some of that shit she went through was not racism. It was just some in-law shit.
But first, we need to start where it all began, with a comedian who didn't just deliver jokes about Meghan Markle, but delivered a masterclass in exposing the absurd. It started during what seemed like a routine comedy set, but something extraordinary happened that night when Chris Rock took aim at Meghan Markle. When he targeted the most unbelievable claim in recent royal history, Meghan's complete ignorance about one of the world's most famous families.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things after 6 episodes. I wanted to attack him.
He wasn't just making people laugh. He was performing cultural surgery with a scalpel made of truth. The audience reaction was electric. Here was someone finally addressing the elephant in the room that everyone had been tiptoeing around regarding Meghan Markle's claims. The assertion that someone could marry into the British royal family without knowing basic facts about Prince Harry's family wasn't just questionable.
You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry.
It was insulting to audience intelligence, and Chris Rock treated it with exactly the skepticism it deserved. But the real genius of Rock's takedown of Meghan wasn't in the individual jokes. It was in the systematic approach to dismantling her narrative. First came the brilliant analogy comparing royal family awareness to knowing about major global brands.
Sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need.
Impossible to avoid if you're alive and conscious. Then came the surgical dismantling of the more serious accusations from Harry and Meghan's interview, using simple logic that deflated explosive claims with devastating effectiveness. What made Rock's performance historically significant wasn't just the laughter it generated about Meghan Markle. It was how it gave permission for others to think critically about the Sussex narrative they'd been told to accept without question. The comedian had demonstrated something powerful.
I don't know how to break this to you, H. And if you weren't in the royal family, M wouldn't be with you.
You could challenge Harry and Meghan's stories without being cruel, using intelligence and humor instead of personal attacks. Word spread through comedy circles like wildfire. If standing ovations were possible for calling out contradictions in Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's narrative, what was stopping everyone else? The blueprint was clear. Target the Sussex story, not the people personally. Focus on Harry and Meghan's absurdities, not personal characteristics. Let the audience's intelligence do the rest.
In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. But not too far.
Other comedians were watching and taking notes. They'd witnessed something revolutionary. Humor being used as a tool for cultural truth-telling about the royal couple. The floodgates were about to open, and nobody was prepared for what came next in the war against the Sussex brand. When British comedy mobilized against Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, they brought something no other comedy scene could match: intimate cultural knowledge and generational authority.
She comes from an unconventional family. Yes, very different family. I was like, yeah, man, she does. Just like Harry.
These weren't outsiders making observations about foreign celebrities. These were cultural insiders watching Prince Harry abandon their institutions, while Meghan critiqued systems they held dear. The British comedy response to Harry and Meghan was swift and surgical. Puppet shows, satire programs, stand-up circuits. They all activated like an immune system responding to the Sussex invasion of American celebrity culture. Their target wasn't just Harry and Meghan as individuals, but the fundamental hypocrisy of abandoning British privilege while expecting its benefits to continue.
I'm here to tell my truth and make a shit ton of money out of podcasting, as I don't have any discernible talent.
What made British comedians so devastating in their Harry and Meghan material was their understanding of what Prince Harry had actually abandoned. They grasped the centuries of tradition, the genuine responsibilities, the real purpose behind royal protocol that Harry was now mocking from his Montecito mansion. When they ridiculed complaints about royal life from Harry and Meghan, it came from a place of authentic cultural knowledge that gave their humor unprecedented authority.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
The Edinburgh Festival became ground zero for this cultural reckoning with the Sussex narrative. Comics descended with material specifically crafted to expose the contradictions they were witnessing in Harry and Meghan's public appearances. Reviews described audiences as absolutely ravenous for more devastating analysis of the royal couple, applauding not just humor but truth-telling disguised as entertainment about the Sussexes.
Yes, Michael, we like to apologise. Unfortunately, William's hair was unable to make it this evening. It's devastating.
Oh, bravo! Hilarious. Yes, a bald joke. Yes.
British satirists understood something crucial that others missed about Harry and Meghan: the sheer audacity of wealthy individuals living in California mansions, complaining about hardship to a nation facing genuine economic challenges. The comedy about the royal couple practically wrote itself, but the delivery was precision engineered for maximum cultural impact against the Sussex brand. The puppet shows targeting Harry and Meghan were particularly brutal because they reduced complex royal narratives to their essential absurdities. When you strip away the emotional manipulation from the Sussex story and focus on basic facts about their lifestyle choices, the contradictions become impossible to ignore.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion.
British humor has always excelled at this kind of cultural deflation, and they'd found their perfect target in Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But the British assault on Harry had another layer of genuine emotion. Many of these comedians had watched Prince Harry grow up in public, witnessed his transformation from beloved royal to what they saw as a Hollywood puppet controlled by Meghan. Their humor carried the weight of cultural disappointment, specifically about Harry's choices, making it even more effective. The message from British comedy about Harry and Meghan was crystal clear.
Whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
You can't have it both ways. Prince Harry couldn't abandon the institution, take the money, allow Meghan to trash the royal reputation, and then expect sympathy when consequences followed. The audience agreement was thunderous and sustained whenever Harry and Meghan were mentioned. When American late-night television entered the war against Harry and Meghan, they brought something uniquely devastating: industrial production values and massive reach. This wasn't niche comedy club material about the royal couple anymore. This was primetime entertainment watched by millions.
If you haven't seen the documentary, lucky you.
With clips featuring Harry and Meghan that would circulate globally within hours. The genius of American late night's approach to Harry and Meghan was how they transformed the royal couple into recurring characters in their comedy universe. Audiences began anticipating Sussex appearances, cheering at the mere mention of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's names. But this wasn't simple mockery of the royal couple. It was character assassination disguised as sketch comedy, more effective because it was wrapped in entertainment.
Harry says, how do you explain to someone who you've just started dating that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother?
How do you explain that you bow to your grandmother and that you will need to curtsy? Especially to an American. Like, that's weird.
And I'm thinking, maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the f***ing queen.
Jimmy Fallon's approach to Harry and Meghan was particularly devastating because it came wrapped in trademark niceness. When he joked about feeling deceived by learning about Prince Harry and Meghan's secret earlier ceremony after waking up early for their public wedding, he spoke for millions who felt similarly manipulated by the Sussex narrative. The laughter wasn't just amusement. It was collective vindication for audiences who sensed something wasn't quite right about Harry and Meghan's story.
Another big revelation was that Meghan said that she and Harry actually got married 3 days before the royal wedding. Great, now I feel like a fool for waking up at 5 a.m. to watch two married people get married.
Conan O'Brien took the mockery of Harry and Meghan into truly bizarre territory, with uncomfortable sexual innuendo segments featuring wax figures of the royal couple. This wasn't just comedy about Prince Harry and Meghan, it was deliberate degradation, reducing the Sussex royals to comedy props and creepy obsession objects. The approach was unsettling, but undeniably effective at destroying the dignity of Harry and Meghan's public image. What made American responses to Harry and Meghan so devastating?
Actually offered to keep the wax figures of Harry and Meghan safe.
Yeah, that's correct. I would just like to say that I'm definitely not using the wax figures for...
was their massive reach and social media amplification. These weren't isolated comedy moments about the royal couple. They were cultural statements about Prince Harry and Meghan broadcast to millions and then shared exponentially across digital platforms. Every joke about the Sussexes reached massive audiences who then created their own content, amplifying the damage to Harry and Meghan's reputation beyond anything traditional media could achieve. American late night understood something crucial about their audiences regarding Harry and Meghan.
Meghan and Harry's son Archie, he's gonna grow up and be like, let me get this straight. We used to be in the royal family? Like I could have been a king and now I'm working at Burger King? Is that what you're...
They didn't care about royal protocol or British tradition that Prince Harry abandoned. They cared about authenticity and consistency. And the story they were analyzing about Harry and Meghan was riddled with contradictions that American comedy could exploit mercilessly. The transformation was complete. Prince Harry and Meghan had gone from respected royal figures to late-night comedy fixtures. Every public appearance by the Sussex couple became potential material for the next show.
My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling.
It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle, you know it's Sussex.
Every interview featuring Harry and Meghan was dissected for contradictions. Every lifestyle choice by the royal couple became punchline material. When the mockery of Harry and Meghan moved from professional stages to bedroom studios, something explosive happened. Millions of content creators discovered that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle material was pure viral gold. Every platform became a battlefield where influencers competed to deliver the most savage takedowns of the Sussex couple.
See, I didn't know who H was. At the time, I just loved his Insta feed.
The online creator assault on Harry and Meghan was different from anything that came before. These weren't polished TV segments about the royal couple or carefully crafted stand-up routines targeting Prince Harry and Meghan. This was raw, unfiltered reaction from ordinary people who felt personally betrayed by the contradictions they were witnessing from the Sussex brand. And the audience response to Harry and Meghan content was absolutely volcanic. What made the creator revolution against Harry and Meghan so devastating was its authenticity.
Meghan Markle is on the American program Suits.
Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m, USA Network. Check it out.
The only difference between that show and this is people watch this one.
When someone with millions of followers recreated Meghan's lifestyle show moments with perfect comedic timing, it felt more real than any professional sketch about the royal couple. These creators weren't reading corporate-approved scripts about Prince Harry and Meghan. They were expressing genuine bewilderment at behavior from the Sussex couple that made no sense to normal people. The viral nature of online content meant every misstep by Harry and Meghan was instantly transformed into memorable content.
Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a we don't care about the royal family.
They got a Netflix
We never
show.
cared about nothing that had to do with y'all. 1775 was the last time we gave a
Meghan's name corrections became sound bites used in thousands of videos mocking the Duchess. Celebrity name-dropping by Prince Harry and Meghan was turned into running gags across platforms. Lifestyle show moments featuring Meghan were recreated with increasingly absurd parodies that often improved on the original Sussex content. But creators weren't just copying Harry and Meghan content, they were improving it. Their versions of Sussex material were funnier, more self-aware, and brutally honest about the absurdity they were witnessing from Prince Harry and Meghan.
They were complaining that to pay for their own security. They were not happy about that. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things. After 6 episodes, I wanted to attack them.
Comment sections became echo chambers of agreement, with millions of users validating each other's bewilderment about the royal couple and sharing their own observations about Harry and Meghan's behavior. The podcast world joined with long-form analytical takedowns that dissected every Harry and Meghan interview, every documentary moment featuring the Sussex couple, every public appearance by Prince Harry and Meghan. These weren't quick jokes about the royal couple. They were hour-long investigations into Sussex contradictions, complete with receipts and evidence that audiences could verify themselves about Harry and Meghan's claims. What the creator economy understood that traditional media didn't was the power of relatability regarding Harry and Meghan.
They wanted to know how brown the baby was going to be.
Concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
That's not racist. Even black people want to know how brown the baby gonna be.
When a parent blogger explained why Prince Harry and Meghan's complaints about royal life rang hollow, it carried more weight than any professional critic discussing the Sussex couple. These were real people expressing real frustration with narratives from Harry and Meghan that insulted their intelligence. The algorithms loved Harry and Meghan content. Videos criticizing the royal couple consistently outperformed positive Sussex content. The engagement was through the roof for Harry and Meghan material. Comments, shares, saves, everything. Social media platforms began actively promoting royal criticism because audiences genuinely couldn't get enough of Harry and Meghan takedowns.
I just woke up, I'm in my underwear, I plop down in front of the TV, I turn it on. The moment I turn it on, Prince Harry's talking shit about.
When professional stand-up comedians entered the arena against Harry and Meghan, they brought weapons that TV hosts could never use against the royal couple. No network censors worried about Sussex backlash, no corporate sponsors concerned about Prince Harry and Meghan controversy. Just raw, unfiltered truth delivered to audiences hungry for someone to finally say what they were all thinking about the royal couple. And they absolutely demolished Harry and Meghan's remaining credibility. Simon Brodkin's takedown of Harry and Meghan became legendary, not because of individual jokes about the royal couple, but because of systematic destruction of the entire Sussex worldview. His analysis of Prince Harry and Meghan's corporate-sounding nicknames struck a nerve because it exposed how calculated and inauthentic the whole Sussex presentation had become. Everything about Harry and Meghan felt focus-grouped and market-tested rather than genuine.
He's like, Joe Rogan's giving out dangerous misinformation. And my first thought was, did I? I might have.
But Brodkin's most savage moment came when he voiced the ultimate taboo thought that millions were thinking about Meghan Markle, but nobody dared express. His observation about Meghan's motivations for the relationship with Prince Harry wasn't just comedy. It was psychological warfare against the Sussex narrative. The audience reaction told you everything about how public opinion had shifted regarding Harry and Meghan. Other comedians followed with increasingly brutal assessments of Harry and Meghan. The stand-up world discovered that audiences were absolutely starving for someone to call out the royal couple's contradictions without the political correctness that constrained other media discussing Prince Harry and Meghan. Finally, someone was expressing what normal people actually thought about the Sussex situation. What made the stand-up assault on Harry and Meghan so devastating was its emotional honesty about the royal couple. These comedians weren't reading corporate-approved material about Prince Harry and Meghan. They were expressing genuine frustration at being asked to sympathize with multimillionaires like Harry and Meghan complaining about mansion living and security costs.
So let me start with you, sir. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where?
The security complaint from Harry and Meghan became a particular target because it crystallized everything wrong with the Sussex victim narrative. Here were Prince Harry and Meghan living in unimaginable luxury, asking for sympathy because they had to pay for their own protection like every other wealthy person on the planet. The absurdity of Harry and Meghan's position was impossible to ignore once someone pointed it out. Stand-up venues reported unprecedented audience reactions during royal material about Harry and Meghan. People weren't just laughing at jokes about the Sussex couple. They were applauding, cheering, and demanding more content targeting Prince Harry and Meghan. Comedy clubs started advertising royal roasting nights specifically featuring Harry and Meghan material because the demand was so intense and the Sussex content was so consistently effective. But the stand-up world understood something about Harry and Meghan that other forms of comedy missed. This wasn't just about making fun of the royal couple as celebrities. This was about calling out the fundamental disconnect between Prince Harry and Meghan's claimed victimhood and their obvious privilege. Audiences were responding to honesty about the Sussex situation, not just humor targeting Harry and Meghan. When South Park dedicated an entire episode to Harry and Meghan, it wasn't just satire. It was cultural crystallization of everything wrong with the Sussex brand. Animation has a unique power to reduce complex situations to their essential absurdities, and they'd found perfect material in Prince Harry and Meghan for their trademark brutal efficiency. South Park's worldwide privacy tour featuring Harry and Meghan became the definitive visual representation of everything contradictory about the Sussex narrative.
How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
The genius was making the royal couple's hypocrisy impossible to ignore. Prince Harry and Meghan flying around the world on private jets while demanding privacy through megaphones wasn't just funny. It was devastating psychological warfare disguised as cartoon comedy, targeting the Sussex brand. The most brutal South Park moment came when Harry and Meghan finally found their quiet place and seemed confused by the actual privacy they claimed to want. The cartoon had exposed the fundamental lie at the heart of the entire Sussex narrative. Prince Harry and Meghan never wanted privacy. They wanted control over their public image. Family Guy took a different approach to Harry and Meghan, turning the royal couple into shorthand for getting paid millions for doing nothing. Their joke about Prince Harry leaving behind obligations for corporate sponsorships became legendary because it captured how far the Sussex brand had fallen from royal dignity to desperate influencer territory. The animated world's assault on Harry and Meghan was particularly cruel because cartoons have a way of crystallizing public perception that's almost impossible to reverse. Once South Park depicted Prince Harry and Meghan as hypocritical attention seekers, that became their permanent cartoon identity in popular culture regarding the Sussex couple. What made the animated assault on Harry and Meghan so effective was its permanence. TV jokes about the royal couple fade from memory, but cartoon images of Prince Harry and Meghan stick forever. The visual metaphors became the Sussex couple's defining public images, referenced constantly in online discussions and social media debates about Harry and Meghan.
Your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
The animation studios discovered what everyone else knew about Harry and Meghan. Royal family dysfunction was comedy gold that practically wrote itself. Every new interview featuring the Sussex couple or public appearance by Prince Harry and Meghan just gave them more material to work with, and audiences couldn't get enough of the Harry and Meghan content. When Bill Maher stepped up to deliver his verdict on Harry and Meghan, something shifted in the cultural conversation about the royal couple. This wasn't just another performer taking shots at Prince Harry and Meghan for laughs. This was a cultural philosopher about to diagnose exactly why every other comedian's jokes about the Sussex couple had landed so perfectly. And his analysis of Harry and Meghan was more devastating than any punchline could ever be.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
Maher cut straight to the core issue that every other comedian had been dancing around regarding Harry and Meghan: the fundamental hypocrisy of the royal couple wanting sympathy while demanding attention, of Prince Harry and Meghan claiming victimhood while living in luxury, of the Sussex brand preaching privacy while courting publicity. He didn't just make jokes about Harry and Meghan, he exposed their worldview as completely broken. But Maher's most surgical strike came when he contrasted Harry and Meghan's constant complaining with the stoic dignity of Queen Elizabeth. The comparison was devastating because it highlighted everything the royal couple could have been versus what Prince Harry and Meghan chose to become. Suddenly, the traditional royal approach of discretion and service looked like wisdom compared to Harry and Meghan's endless grievance tour. What made Maher's analysis of Harry and Meghan so powerful wasn't just its accuracy about the Sussex couple. It was how he articulated what millions of people felt but couldn't express about Prince Harry and Meghan. The disconnect between the royal couple's claimed hardship and obvious privilege had been bothering audiences for years, but Maher finally gave it words and intellectual framework regarding the Sussex situation. Maher's final statement about refusing to validate Harry and Meghan's version of reality became the rallying cry for everyone who felt manipulated by victim narratives from the Sussex couple in positions of privilege. He had identified the most annoying aspect of Prince Harry and Meghan's entire project: the arrogant demand that everyone else accept their interpretation of events, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary about the royal couple. The audience reaction to Maher's analysis of Harry and Meghan told you everything. This wasn't just laughter at jokes about the Sussex couple. It was recognition.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
He had diagnosed a cultural phenomenon that went far beyond Prince Harry and Meghan as individuals. He'd identified a broader pattern of privileged victimhood that audiences were rejecting across the board, with Harry and Meghan as prime examples. What elevated Maher's takedown of Harry and Meghan beyond comedy was its intellectual framework about the royal couple. He wasn't just pointing out contradictions in the Sussex narrative. He was explaining why those contradictions about Prince Harry and Meghan mattered in a broader cultural context. This was sociology disguised as stand-up, providing the philosophical architecture for understanding why the comedy assault on Harry and Meghan had been so universally effective. When you step back and examine this unprecedented comedic phenomenon targeting Harry and Meghan, a fascinating pattern emerges. This wasn't just entertainment about the royal couple. This was real-time cultural rejection of the Sussex narrative happening in front of our eyes. Every laugh at Prince Harry and Meghan jokes, every applause for royal roasting, every viral clip targeting the Sussex brand was evidence of a massive disconnect between carefully crafted narratives and public reality. The comedy world had accidentally become the voice of authentic public opinion about Harry and Meghan. While mainstream media wrestled with political correctness regarding the royal couple and protocol around Prince Harry and Meghan coverage, Comedians were free to express what audiences actually thought about the Sussex situation, and what audiences thought was devastating for the credibility of Harry and Meghan's victim narratives. But here's the truly revealing aspect of this cultural moment targeting Harry and Meghan. It wasn't really about the royal couple as specific individuals at all. Prince Harry and Meghan had become symbols of a much larger phenomenon: privileged victimhood in the social media age.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
The comedy about the Sussex couple was so effective because audiences recognized patterns they'd seen everywhere in contemporary culture, with Harry and Meghan as perfect examples. The digital age had created a new type of celebrity crisis, perfectly exemplified by Harry and Meghan. In the past, public figures like the royal couple could control their narratives through carefully managed media appearances. But social media democratized criticism of Prince Harry and Meghan, and comedy became the weapon of choice for calling out Sussex authenticity failures. What made the Harry and Meghan situation unique was how perfectly it crystallized every contradiction of modern celebrity culture. The royal couple's demand for privacy while courting publicity, Prince Harry and Meghan's claims of victimhood from positions of extreme privilege, the Sussex expectation of sympathy while living in luxury that most people can't imagine. The global nature of the comedy response to Harry and Meghan proved this wasn't just cultural or political divide about the royal couple. Comedians from different countries, different backgrounds, different political perspectives, all arrived at the same conclusion independently about Prince Harry and Meghan. The Sussex story simply didn't add up to logical scrutiny. Cultural experts began analyzing why the comedy targeting Harry and Meghan had been so effective across all demographics. The consensus was clear. Audiences were rejecting not just Prince Harry and Meghan specifically, but an entire approach to public discourse that prioritized victimhood claims over personal accountability, with the royal couple as the perfect example.
Meghan, I'm begging you to stop now.
The evidence suggests something far more significant than simple reputation damage has occurred to Harry and Meghan. The royal couple has become permanently embedded in comedy culture as symbols of everything problematic about modern celebrity victimhood narratives. Prince Harry and Meghan have transcended their individual circumstances to become cultural shorthand for privileged hypocrisy. The brutal reality is that comedy has a way of crystallizing public perception that's almost impossible to reverse, and this is exactly what happened to Harry and Meghan. Once the royal couple became the punchline, every future appearance by Prince Harry and Meghan just reminds people why they were laughing in the first place. And the Sussex story has given comedians enough material to last for decades. But the Harry and Meghan phenomenon represents something bigger than individual reputation damage to the royal couple. The comedy assault on Prince Harry and Meghan marks a cultural turning point where audiences reject performative victimhood from positions of obvious privilege. The laughter at Sussex expense isn't just entertainment. It's rebellion against being manipulated by carefully crafted narratives from Harry and Meghan that insult public intelligence.
Complaining about your hard life and you're so privileged. It's just so weird.
The comedy world accidentally discovered the most effective weapon against narrative manipulation, perfectly demonstrated in the Harry and Meghan case, simply pointing out contradictions in the Sussex story and letting audiences draw their own conclusions. No complex analysis required about the royal couple, no political framework needed regarding Prince Harry and Meghan, just brutal honesty disguised as entertainment about the Sussex brand. For Harry and Meghan individually, the path forward looks increasingly impossible. Every interview featuring the royal couple creates new material for comedians targeting the Sussex narrative. Every public appearance by Prince Harry and Meghan reminds audiences of the contradictions in their story. Every attempt at rebranding by the Sussex couple just reinforces why they became cultural punchlines in the first place. The verdict from the court of public opinion delivered through the weapon of comedy appears to be final regarding Harry and Meghan. The royal couple wanted to control their narrative, but comedy democratized the response to the Sussex brand. Prince Harry and Meghan demanded sympathy, but audiences chose laughter instead at the royal couple's expense. What we've witnessed isn't just the fall of Prince Harry and Meghan as celebrities.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
It's a masterclass in how authenticity works in the digital age, with the Sussex couple as the perfect case study. The comedy targeting Harry and Meghan was so effective because it expressed what millions of people felt but couldn't articulate about the royal couple. And once that feeling about Prince Harry and Meghan found its voice through humor, there was no putting it back in the bottle. The laughter about Harry and Meghan has spoken, and its message regarding the Sussex couple is crystal clear. In a world where everyone has a platform and comedy is the ultimate truth teller, authenticity isn't just preferred when it comes to public figures like Prince Harry and Meghan. It's required. The age of manipulated narratives like the Sussex story surviving public scrutiny is over, and comedy delivered the final verdict on Harry and Meghan. This cultural moment will be remembered as the time when humor defeated careful PR management, perfectly demonstrated by the Harry and Meghan case, when audience intelligence triumphed over narrative manipulation from the Sussex brand, and when comedians accidentally became the most effective truth tellers of our time regarding Prince Harry and Meghan. The revolution was televised, it was hilarious, and it was absolutely devastating to the royal couple's credibility.